From Ron Dayne to Monty Ball, and Melvin Gordon to Corey Clement, the Wisconsin Badgers are known to produce superstar running backs, and Jonathan Taylor is just the latest product to come out of the running back factory located in Madison, Wisconsin. JT was the best running back in the 2020 NFL draft class, and thankfully he fell to the Indianapolis Colts, and I am so excited for the future he has with us. Taylor was an absolute beast in college, and I truly do believe he will be an elite running back in the NFL in the near future. But how did he get to this point? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the rise of Jonathan Taylor, his entire football story, and why I think he has the makings of an NFL legend. But before we do that, first be sure to take a quick moment to subscribe if you are new, smash that like button, and drop a comment to help the video grow. Also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload of mine. Now let's get started with the rise of Jonathan Taylor. 21 years after Ron Dayne became a star from New Jersey, a new running back arrived in Madison, Wisconsin. His name was Jonathan Taylor, and he was never expected to become the star he is today. Growing up near the Delaware River in a small 3,000-person town called Salem, the 5'11" kid grew up quiet and humble, but he knew he was off to big things. He was always faster and better athletically than all the other kids, but his chances of making it big were slim in the eyes of many. He grew up in an insanely strict household where breaking the rules was not taken lightly, and he was almost not allowed to play football. He would get it together though, and he would become a really good person everyone would want to associate with. He wasn't just a talented football player, he was also super smart and the kind of guy that prepared for life off the field. He's interested in stuff like astrophysics, philosophy, and space, and thought about attending a school that I would say is pretty prestigious called Harvard. He seriously considered going there, but ended up deciding to stay in-state and play for Rutgers. He was arguably the fastest player in the state of New Jersey and broke the single-season rushing record, but his best offers were schools such as Virginia Tech, which really is not that bad, Boston College, and Rutgers. Not known as much of a football powerhouse, the Scarlet Knights were a huge deal for the small-town kid, but he would get a late offer that would change the ballgame. In his in-home visit with Paul Chryst, he wore a Flash t-shirt because he said he was the fastest player in the state of New Jersey. Wisconsin saw potential in Taylor and decided to throw him a late offer, one that would change his mind on Rutgers, and he would flip to the Wisconsin Badgers. According to 24/7 Sports, JT was a 3-star recruit, the number 24 running back, and the 371st best recruit in the class of 2017. Going into the 2017 season, Taylor had tough shoes to fill as Monty Ball, Melvin Gordon, James White, and Corey Clement had come before him. With an opening at running back due to Clement's graduation, he was going to get a chance to immediately see the field, and that's exactly what would end up happening. They did have other guys like Bradrick Shaw, Garrett Groshek, and Chris James, but Taylor took the starting job and ran with it, literally. With a good defense, powerful offensive line, and Alex Hornibrook as the quarterback, the Badgers were expected to be good in 2017. In his first career game against Utah State, he rushed the ball for 87 yards and a touchdown, which was pretty good for a first game. In his second game, he showed his true potential and why he was going to be a very special player. Against Florida Atlantic, he put up 223 yards and 3 touchdowns on the Apples defense, and the college football world took notice. He would then go for 128 yards against BYU, 2 touchdowns against Northwestern, 249 yards and 2 touchdowns against Nebraska, 219 yards against Purdue, and 126 yards versus Maryland. Jonathan had literally came out of nowhere to most people, and he was a sleeper for the Heisman Trophy. He would continue to dominate with 183 yards against Indiana, 157 versus number 20 Iowa, 132 versus number 24 Michigan, and 149 against arch-rival Minnesota. The Wisconsin Badgers found themselves undefeated at 12-0 and were one win away from the college football playoff. Unfortunately, JT Barrett and Ohio State had other ideas, and they defeated the Badgers in the Big Ten championship game and fell just short. Taylor had the worst game of his season against the Buckeyes, but he bounced back with 130 yards in their Orange Bowl win over number 10 Miami. As a true freshman, Jonathan Taylor rushed the ball 299 times for 1,977 yards and 13 touchdowns, while averaging nearly 7 yards per carry. He finished 6th in the Heisman Trophy voting and broke the record for rushing yards in a season for a freshman. The kid was a stud and was somehow only going to get better. Going into the 2018 season, Jonathan was a preseason All-American, and this helped Wisconsin achieve their highest preseason ranking in school history. He had a huge Week 1 performance against Western Kentucky, and then followed it up with 253 yards and 3 touchdowns against New Mexico. He was once again off to a great start, and he had a solid game against BYU, but the Cougars would hit a game-winning field goal, and Wisconsin was going to have a tough road to the playoff. They would win a tough road game at Iowa, and JT would rush for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. The following week, the Badgers were in must-win territory on the road against Michigan, but they couldn't get the job done, and the playoff chances were done too. He ran all over Illinois the following week before he had one of the worst performances of his career against Northwestern, and Wisconsin lost their third game of the season. He would bounce back with a 3-touchdown performance against Rutgers before another big-time matchup with Penn State. They lost their fourth game of the season, and Jonathan took this personally. In a game I was at to witness, Jonathan Taylor rushed for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns against Purdue, and I watched him easily run in the game-winning score. They barely won that game in triple overtime, and then they lost to Minnesota to finish with a 7-5 record. They got a bid to play in the Pinstripe Bowl, where they for some reason played against Miami for the second straight year, and again won. He would lead the country in rushing yards en route to becoming a first-team All-American, and the winner of the Doak Walker Award for the nation's top running back. He rushed the ball for 2,194 yards and 16 touchdowns. Would defenses be able to stop JT in his third collegiate season? They would definitely try, but once again fail. This time in his first game against South Florida, he rushed for 2 touchdowns and also caught 2 touchdowns in the air. This was something that had not been done since 2010, and it would also be something he needed to do more if he wanted to be a first-round draft pick. After 3 touchdowns versus Central Michigan, they were set up with another huge matchup against Michigan. Taylor went for over 200 yards, and the race to the playoff continued. He scored 4 touchdowns against Kent State, and the Badgers shut out back-to-back opponents, and everything was looking really good. They were set to play Illinois, the perennial bottom feeder of the Big Ten West, and it was expected to be a pit stop before the showdown with Ohio State the following week. Jonathan played okay, but the rest of the team didn't really show up, and they let Illinois hang around. Illinois made a few late plays, and then found themselves in a position to hit a game-winning field goal, which they would hit. This was terrible, but if they knocked off Ohio State on the road, it could save their season, but they lost, and the playoff dream died. After this, Taylor went on a tear as he rushed for over 200 yards in 3 straight games as they beat Iowa, Nebraska, and Purdue. He would score 2 touchdowns in their win over number 8 Minnesota, and at least Wisconsin won the Big Ten West. They rematched with Ohio State, and he had a good game, but they lost by 2 scores. They would go on to go to the Rose Bowl, where they were matched up with Oregon. This game was an all-time thriller, and Taylor did enough to amass 2,000 yards on the season, but Justin Herbert proved to be too much, and Oregon won. He once again was a first-team All-American, won the Doak Walker Award for the second straight year, which had not been done since Darren McFadden, and he was the best running back in college football. He went for over 2,000 yards as he finished with 2,003 yards and 21 touchdowns. He holds the NCAA record for most 200-yard games, and the most rushing yards through someone's junior season. He's the 6th all-time leading rusher in college football history, and it would have surely gone up had he stayed another year. JT decided the best thing for his career was to enter the 2020 NFL Draft. Despite being the best running back in a long time statistically, and just by eye test, he was not expected to be a first-round pick. He would be taken in the 2nd round by the Indianapolis Colts, and I was literally in awe that we got him. JT is one of those players that just has the it factor, and I think he'll be the best running back from this draft class. He was expected to be the backup to Marlon Mack, but with Mack's injury, JT has gone over to take full-time backfield duties. So far with the Colts in 2020, he has looked really good and has shown flash of being an elite running back, but he is young. In his first start against Minnesota, he went for over 100 yards and also scored his first career touchdown. He had another score against the Jets the next week, and had a decent showing against the Bears today. I expect JT to rush for nearly 1,000 yards as a rookie, and I think he'll be the best running back in a long time for the Colts. I absolutely loved him in college, and I hope he stays healthy and balls out in the NFL. What do you guys think though? Will Jonathan Taylor become an elite running back, or will he be somewhat like Monty Ball? Be sure to let me know, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, give it a like, and it would really help the video grow, and also let me know who I should do next in the comment section. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also be sure to check out my other NFL players story videos. Until next time though, peace.